A pumpkin patch, not particularly well cared for. Presumably MacGuffin spends a lot of time buried in his books and not enough time in his garden. The groundwater is only a few metres down in this region. Presumably the well isn't very deep. That was suspiciously easy. The rope has broken and the bucket's probably at the bottom of the well where it's of no use to anyone. There's a stone in the undergrowth. There's something written on it, but I can't see what it is. That could be a little gravestone. An old watering can made out of metal. It's small even by gremlin standards. An upturned flower pot made of clay. There's a stone under it. That could be a firestone. That's coming with me. Presumably the professor wanted to prevent the stone getting wet. A pile of logs. There is no way that MacGuffin will get through the winter with such a small amount, not even autumn. 3 should be enough. A large brick fireplace. The fire grate's on the outside, not inside the house. That's a bit unusual, but it does make sense if the professor doesn't wish to have an open fire inside. A swinging metal frame. You can hang pots or something of that sort onto it and then swing it over the fire. I'd say this is a pretty basic millstone. Grain is tipped into the hole above and you then turn the upper stone. The flour then comes out of the side. That should hold. Let's give it a whirl. It worked. This means that I have a gremlin watering can full of water. A daring structure, and just like the whole house, pretty wonky. Doesn't look as if it'll last long. Strange. Someone's fitted a wooden shutter in front of the little window. Looks like the shutter can be opened. It's pretty high up. Typical bachelor. Everything in a mess. Plates, pots, cups, covered with a sticky mixture of dust and fat. Dead flies. Ugh, yuck. I'm definitely not tidying up here. Why hasn't the gremlin's companion sorted this out? What's that? A box with some kind of glass eye. It seems to be hanging directly in front of the gable window. I haven't got a clue what it's for. A wooden tub, about half full of water. Oh, great. This has the professor's washing floating around in it. White shirts, grey socks, red underpants. The back of the fireplace. When MacGuffin wanted to heat his food up, he just needed to put it into one of those little stoves. A small old-fashioned shield. The inside is highly polished. A carpenter's cup. It looks old. Would appear to be a mirror frame. There are still a few broken shards of the old mirror around the edges. The mirror's turned so it reflects the fireplace. Strange. Not really worth a closer look. Not quite as good as a real mirror, but I can see my reflection. Looking good, as usual. Looks like the base for a statue. It's made out of stone and it's covered with strange characters. There's a 6-sided indentation on the base. Perhaps the mounting for a statue. A stone casket placed in a wooden box. The box looks very cheap. It could be one of those storage containers. The stone chest is decorated with 2 angels and has writing on it too. I can't read it. What's likely to happen, eh? Sand. Is it me, or has it just got much warmer in here? A standard jelly glowfish. They're everywhere around here. This one here isn't glowing anymore, and won't ever again. Jelly glowfish are really quite frugal animals. They need water and a little bit of food every now and then. I guess this one lacked the latter. I think these are all the things that the professor uses on his digs. A brush, a little shovel, a sieve. I'll take the sieve. The rest looks pretty useless. There is something in there. A little brass key. Looks like a very ancient sarcophagus. Oh, strange. There are hinges on it, just like a door. Shame. Just a stinky mummy. What have we here?
What are you doing, Mortimer?
What the... Did you just speak? You speak?
Me? No.
Well, yes you do, quite obviously.
What is obvious?
That you can and do speak.
But of course.
But you just said that you didn't.
Why are you being so strange, Mortimer?
I'm not Mortimer.
Where is Mortimer?
You mean MacGuffin, the gremlin archaeologist who lives here, yes?
What?
Mortimer.
Yes?
You're called Mortimer?
No, of course not.
I think we're finished with this conversation.
I think you are slowly losing your marbles, Mortimer.
Presumably the sarcophagus lacks oxygen. A strange stone head. It's been roughly hewn but has a few fine embellishments. Perhaps a memento from one of the professor's expeditions. A little wooden box. Doesn't look like an antique or anything particularly valuable. It has beautiful workmanship though. It's locked. Let's see. There's a bit of paper in the box. The paper's densely covered with writing. Deus ex machina. The ghost in the machine is the heading. There's also a drawing of a stone figure. At its feet is a vessel containing liquid. Let's take a look. The ghost in the machine is wise to all the secrets of this house. That's what's written here. Blah blah. Pour the fuel into the bowl at the foot of the machine to awaken the ghost. Fuel? Oh, here. Grind the beans and tip the powder into boiling water, then pour the mixture into the bowl. We've already had that bit. You'll get the beans from the machine. Strange. A machine that's meant to be familiar with all the secrets of the house. Wait, there is something else. There's a 6-sided flat stone hidden under the paper. It has something a bit like a knob on the top of it. Nothing else in there. The box is empty. A dragon's skull. It could have been a horntail, nasty creatures, but there are very few around these days. The last of them are now working almost exclusively as beasts of burden. They've not just lost their viciousness, they've lost their pride too. I can still remember a time when dragons were powerful. That was centuries ago, before they were subjugated to a stranger's will by the power of magic. Once they were brought under control, they were used by the 100 on battlefields. From that, very few of them survived. Old parchment and yellowing papers, filled with texts in many different foreign languages. Adonisham Western, Quenya and Sindarin, and technical drawings in Kuzdul. A large handwritten book. It looks like it's been used a lot. It's the Gremlin's diary. Perhaps I'll find some hints about the cellar. Let's take a closer look. Who would have ever thought that it would fall to someone like me, an old archaeologist, to stop this madness? And I didn't find the key to it on one of my expeditions, not in dark dungeons or in fiery mountains. Oh no, I discovered the answer in an old book. He must mean the book that was hidden in the cellar, in which the information about the artifact's whereabouts is written. The notes end mid-sentence. I wonder why I haven't heard anything from Archmage Alistair yet. I sent Beetle out with a message for him yesterday morning. I hope nothing has... That was the last entry. There are others before it. What's this at the beginning of this page? Today I have been examining the books that I brought back from the Grindle Mountains. Amongst them was a book about herbs and tinctures. An old herbalist was adamant that I would find a recipe to cure my cold feet in it. What a disappointment, though. Just superstitious nonsense about frog eyes and wool socks. I was just about to burn the book when I noticed that the volume contained other things. A disturbing tale of a tragic relationship between a magician and his pet sheep Boris, as well as a travel log written by a fairy explorer. The travel log described how the explorer landed on an island in the West Seas whilst searching for undiscovered fairy tribes. He created several very beautiful sketches of the temple ruins that can be found on that island. I will use these to entertain myself and translate the runes he drew. The next entry was made 2 days later. It's only barely legible. The gremlin appears to have been very excited. It must be the entrance. The wrath of the gods caused the temple to sink into the ocean, of course. But not all, not all. Ye gods, my hands are still shaking despite the fact that Beetle made me a calming herbal tea before he left. Good old Beetle, he has obviously got no clue how significant my discovery is. I have sent him to Master Alistair, the Archmage of the Humans. He is to hand him a sealed letter. Tomorrow Master Alistair will arrive, and I can unburden myself of this terrible responsibility. I will not be able to sleep a wink. And next, there's the last entry that I read out before. There's nothing else there. There's nothing more there of interest to me. Books, books, and more books. Most are ancient tomes. They appear to be written in just about every language. The book that MacGuffin told me about is hidden in the cellar. These books aren't of interest. Let's see. Fits perfectly. I wonder if How pretty. Ooh, this must be the ominous machine which is reputed to have a ghost living in it. The vessel at its base must be for fuel. The statue has small holes in its nose, and it appears that the mouth could be opened. Hello, you in there? Ghost, give me beans for your draft. Oh, mighty ghost in the machine, give me the beans for your delicious, godly draught. Let's look at it this way. If you don't give me the beans, then I won't be able to prepare your stupid draught, and that won't be of any use to anyone. Why the wait? It works! The beans are being ground to powder. That's it. Once they get going, they'll burn for a few hours. They'll burn well, they're dry as bone. I'll give it a go. What? The watering can with the cold well water is hanging on the metal arm. Let's see. The water's boiling. A watering can full of hot water. Very well. The water's turning brown. And it smells... lovely. That's the fuel for the machine sorted. And woe betide if this whole effort's in vain. Hello? You there, ghost. I have to find the secret cellar. Will you help me?
Oh no.
A clever mechanism. So this is the legendary secret cellar. The cellar continues on behind these bars. I can't see anything, but I bet that the book's in there somewhere. Guess even a secret cellar is in the end just a cellar, and all cellars have gardening tools such as these gardening shears. As long as I'm not expected to do the gardening now. A picture on a stone slab. It depicts a man in a robe with a staff in his hand. A jewel is glinting in the headpiece of the staff. Some sort of light beam shining on it. A small, fat figure. She's holding a mirror above her head. Looks ancient. The sad remains of extinct cultures and of the last camping trip. I can't discover anything of interest amongst this junk. Hey, that's the staff that was in the picture on the wall. About 2 meters long, and it has a top made of bronze. It's just the jewel that's missing. A small circular opening in the ground. It's decorated with an ancient script, just like the picture on the wall. There are 3 carved figures by the bars. Each one of them has a different precious stone. This one here has a blue sapphire in its head. This figure looks a bit like a dog. One of its eyes is a large ruby. The spider has an emerald on its back, green. Strong iron bars without a door or lock. Behind it is a dark room. I somehow have to open the bars. The window's open. The last rays of sunlight can enter the house. I don't believe it. Now I've ended up doing the gardening. It is indeed a gravestone. A little gravestone made of granite that's got Kinski inscribed on it. picture on a stone slab. It depicts a man in a robe with a staff in his hand. A jewel is glinting in the headpiece of the staff. Some sort of light beam shining on it. The light beam is reflected by the little figure's mirror, but it's simply shining onto the floor.
Yoo-hoo!
How exactly did the iron bars in the cellar open? Hey, I'm talking to you.
You can speak?
You know what? Forget it. I'll work it out for myself. I'd rather search through every nook and cranny of this house than inflict any more of these conversations upon my elven ears.
You can speak?
Did you have an accident in a bandage factory?
No, I'm a mummy.
Don't mummies have their brains pulled out via their noses during the mummification process?
I don't think so.
I do. I know you've never been down there, but there was a staff in the cellar, and there's a precious stone that belongs on the top of it, a ruby. Do you know where it is?
But of course, Mortimer. You asked me to hide it for you. Don't you remember?
I must have forgotten about that.
Oh, what would you do without me?
Could you please just give it to me? I just need it for a second.
What?
The jewel. And before you ask, I mean the stone that you put somewhere safe for me. And please don't tell me that you've forgotten.
How could I forget that? You said it was very important that no one found the stone.
Oh, okay. Now please can I have it back?
Why would I give a complete and utter stranger Mortimer's stone?
I'm a friend of Mortimer. He's sent me to fetch something out of the cellar.
I have never seen you here before, and I never forget a face.
Please, it's urgent.
I do not know whether I can trust you. I would only give a really good friend of Mortimer's the jewel.
That's me. I saved his life. Well, maybe.
Really? If you are truly a good friend of Mortimer, then you will be able to give me the answer to the following question. What color is his underwear?
Red. He mostly wears red underwear.
That's right! Red silk underwear. But I'm still not quite satisfied. So, what is his cat's name?
His cat died some while ago. Her gravestone's outside. Her name was Kinski.
It was a tomcat. The poor thing was always so happy playing with my bandages.
Yes, very sad, very sad. But hopefully this proves that I am a good friend of old Mortimer, does it not?
You have only answered one of my questions.
2? You asked me about his underwear.
But why would his underwear be of any interest to me?
Oh, come on, don't change the subject. Are you going to give me that jewel now?
No, not yet. I have one last question. What did Count Grunschfeld or Pieperbock say to his adjutant Henninger shortly before the Battle of Budleberg?
Huh?
Wrong.
No, I just don't understand what you're talking about.
I am a trifle unsure about this too. It is a bit like a coded question.
And do you know the answer?
Of course. Mortimer told me.
And you haven't forgotten it?
No. So, what is the answer?
234, of course.
Oh? What?
234. I know all about that. Mortimer told me many times.
234 what?
How can anyone who is a good friend of Mortimer not know that?
But how? What?
234. Mortimer never told you that?
Well, yes. 234?
So it turns out that you aren't such a good friend after all then, if you don't even know anything about the 234.
Oh, that! You mean that 234?
Yes, exactly.
With that thingy?
Precisely. I see that you are a good friend of old Mortimer's after all.
Of course.
Splendid! Now that you've proven that, can you give me the jewel?
At last. Many thanks.
You're welcome. Fits perfectly. A small circular opening in the ground. It's decorated with an ancient script, just like the picture on the wall. There are strange marks on the figure's pedestal. Looks like the figure may have been turned. I've got to try and turn it back to its original position. This must be the secret book. Oh, it's been written by hand and there are several pictures. There are a few words written in orange ink. That doesn't exist, does it? The artifact of divine fate. This is serious. I should get this book to the Archmage as quick as I can. As long as I don't bump into the sorcerer or his troll, I should manage to make Seastone by midday tomorrow. Shouldn't be a problem. Uh-oh.